Are you looking for the next craft beer to try? Well, maybe barrel-aged Sweetwater Street from One Well is the one for you. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brad.
And I'm Steve.
So, since Steve's still here,
Still want to go home.
yeah, we're gonna drink beer all night. No, so One Well last weekend released a couple new beers, and so I went in to pick one of each up, and the guy's like, "Hey, we've got all these other small ones." So I've done,
Sucker.
yeah. So I've done a maple bourbon barrel aged something. I can't remember, even though I pulled one out of the can and gave it to Steve. But this is a bourbon barrel aged coffee donut porter. 8-ounce cans, just like One Well does on all their high ABV beers. This is 11.4% ABV.
Hence the small glass for the
Yeah, I
8 ounce.
figured we wouldn't use 16-ounce glasses.
Or like that much in there.
Yeah.
No, very
What
true.
kind of smell do you get out of this? So we probably have some left over.
Well, and I think this can only be getting, or you can only get this at One Well?
I believe so.
Okay, so this
I
is,
don't
you
think
gotta
they-
go there
yeah.
to get it.
And I believe, I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this. I still think it's like $22 for a 4-pack.
Whoosh.
I can't...
Or your firstborn. Either or.
I think I got 4 beers. It was either $34 or $54. One or the other. I
Oh,
can't
you
remember.
by sip for what I drink?
Oh, yeah. No, they are expensive, but again, we're trying new beers. We're trying to show you guys what they are. So I would rather buy one than 4. Like the other one, the maple one, you couldn't buy one. You had to buy a 4-pack.
Okay.
Like they had the maple one, then they had the same exact one without maple.
Sure.
And
okay.
when I found out it was $22, I was like, give me the maple one. Because it was $22 for non-maple, $22 for maple. Well,
It's a dumb decision
Yeah.
right there. Like,
Yeah.
You just made it
So,
for me. Give me
yeah.
the maple.
so I would rather pick up one. Yeah, it was probably like $8 for an 8-ounce, $1 an ounce.
$1 an ounce.
But yeah, so for the most part, I would rather buy one and at least try it than pick up a 4-pack that's $22 and be like, oh, okay, I had that. Let's move on.
Sure. Well, and the nice thing too is if you can pick out some of the flavor notes that you like, maybe you can come up with a recipe
Right.
that you can get your money back by doing a 5-gallon batch
Yeah,
or something
and-
like that. So
And we kind of screwed up, and I almost did it, but I didn't. Bell's Online, I think it was back in November, when they were switching over from White Labs yeast to Imperial.
oh yes,
They had a big website sale, and they were selling like oak chunks for real cheap.
yeah.
But you could only get them online, and I was like, I'm going to stop in there. I got my card. I'll get 10% off, and then never went in there. So
Life
I want to
happens.
I really want to brew a humongous beer. Like, make it, if I can do, because I've got a 15-gallon pot, but I don't know if it'll fit in my mash tun, but make like a 15% beer, like here soon, and then, ferment it, age it, but like 2 months before, let's say in October, move it over to oak bourbon chips. Like,
Sure.
get the oak chips and put the bourbon in there, Maker's Mark, whatever, and let them soak, and then put those in a keg. Because by then, I think what I could do is use just a regular fermenter, put it in a glass, then move it back over, because it's only going to be 2 months.
Yeah.
And let it sit, then keg it. I think that would be real good. And this past year, I didn't have time for doing that.
Well, and if anyone out there is interested in oaking, or you know how you pay quite a bit for these bourbon barrel whatevers, you have to remember too that the barrels that they're using are like 55 gallons.
Right.
So your surface area for wood and the soaked in bourbon is not as great. So they have to age for quite a while. If you get on some wine websites, you'll actually see how they infuse that oak taste without actually using oak barrels and whatnot. Right. So like some of the things that they use, like they use chips, they use cubes.
Spirals?
Spirals are the best because they like
they have more surface area.
Yeah. So you'll get that flavor, and you can actually get more, like, a little fancier wood. So, like, the American oak is good. It's a little more harsh. But then if you look at wine making, like, the French oak and, like, Belgian oak or something like that, it's a little smoother. So I wonder, like, flavor profile, what kind of impact that would have. You can always soak it in bourbon anyways.
Yeah.
Or whatever liquor you like.
Right. And I think no matter what, you would want to soak it in some kind of bourbon, even if you had to vodka, just to sanitize it and make sure it's clean. Because unless you go to a homebrew store or somewhere that sells it, you don't know what, how clean is it.
Right.
And a lot of breweries have to dump their beer. I won't mention any names, that I know some around Michigan that had to dump it because it was infected when they just got barrels in from somewhere. So we'll get back to this beer, but so we don't have a head. I'm guessing that's from the barrel, maybe the sweetness coming through. I would say it's pitch black. It's not. I don't have a hue for a porter.
No, it's pretty dark.
Smell?
It smells like bourbon.
Big, wet bourbon.
You can smell a little oak.
Yeah, like that. It smells very young. Big bourbon, alcohol, vanilla, oak, and that's it. I can't remember what the regular donut tastes like.
It's been a minute. Yeah. And I know it's...
and they don't... Yeah. But...
Smells boozy.
As of the smell, I'm going to say you should age this for years. But that's my preference. I'd rather have a nice, smoother, older, aged beer than a young beer. So if you're into young beers, here's the bourbon right out of the oak barrel.
It reminds me of like a expedition stout a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
I would almost, yeah. But yeah, it's big bourbon. Yeah. Taste. Before I taste, it almost smells higher than 11.4%.
It tastes like 11.4%. It's good.
Wow.
I was going to diss them for putting it in an 8-ounce can. But, shit, I don't know if I could do a 12. Wow. That is motor oil.
Now, I have a feeling this one, if you're not into drinking high alcohol, bourbon, wet barrel, oaky beers, this is probably not the one for you. Like, I wouldn't say it's fire, but it's got that bourbon
flavor.
It's almost like a sour, like that vanilla bourbon oak pushes into a sour. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've had Blue Sunday from New Holland, but there's like an oak sour.
I get that too. It's not like a. It's not like their other sour only goes to show.
Yeah,
which is a great sour.
Different kind of sour.
Yeah, It's like
an oak sour.
Boozy, yeah.
It's like a boozy vanilla bourbon oak sour.
Yeah, but it's not.
It doesn't taste like a donut porter.
No. I think they, yeah, I don't know what they did. If they just doubled their recipe and then just, it's good.
I think they used very wet barrels.
Mm.
The body's not heavily thick. It's thick, but it's not thick.
That is,
But you're happy with the 8-ounce can.
yeah. I wasn't at first because I'm like, God, you got ripped off. And by the way, there's still some in here.
Yeah.
It's like, whew. But man, now I see why they did it, because that is powerful. It's good. I'm glad we're splitting this.
So you get that bourbon, you get that oak, maybe a tiny bit of vanilla, almost tart sour up front.
Yeah.
Smooth as it goes back. Like, I don't get roasted malt.
Mm-mm.
I don't get coffee, as it says. I wouldn't even... I would say there's a tiny bit of sweetness in there, but with all that oaky and bourbon flavors up front, you really don't get a lot of sweetness. It's
like when you take a shot of bourbon and it's in your mouth and you're like, okay, this tastes fairly good, but I know it's gonna burn. This doesn't burn. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's like you're doing that and it's not burning, but it's got that flavor profile. You just gotta go try it. I don't know how to describe it.
It's light like a porter.
Yeah.
In my eyes, it's thick, but it's like an imperial porter. Let's go there.
Young imperial porter.
I almost want to say like that sour tartness is almost
like a tart cherry.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's tart grape.
Mm.
Like a green grape, oaky sourness. But yeah, and they don't say.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, if you're big into barrel aged beers, I think you will like this. Remember, it's a porter though. I think that other one, the maple one, was 12.4 or whatever, so that was higher in alcohol than this. But this one tastes younger. Yes. Like, I'm young, here's my fire. Yeah. Instead of...
Without the burning, though. It's not like it burns on.
Yeah, I really don't get any burn. But I would probably...
I'd love to know how they make this. Like, what do they do?
I know.
Just...
I would probably have to go with a 4.25 out of 5. For my liking, for the beer, I would probably actually go a 3.5 because it's a coffee donut porter. Mm-hmm. I don't get coffee. No. I don't get sweetness like you would get in a donut or breadiness. But yeah, for me, I would drink this again. I probably wouldn't buy it because of how expensive it was.
Right.
But yeah, 4.25 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm probably right there with you. As I might even give it a 4-ish, only because when I like bourbon barrel aged, I like the aged. And like my benchmark is like Expedition Stout, where like you drink that and you can tell it's old. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just got an old taste to it, where this tastes young. And that's okay. And there's some there's some people who like that. For me, I don't know, I prefer older.
And usually I do too. But I think it's because of that sour oak then I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah. I wonder if you were to age it, if it would mellow out over time. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I only picked up one, so
We'll never know.
Unless I go back and get another one. So 5 of my friends have rated it average 3 or 4.35 out of 5.
Wow, better than us, huh?
Yep. And 750 people have rated this average 4.25 out of 5.
Well, there you go. You hit
So,
your mark.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even think I like their standard donut porter. It's good, but it's not like, okay,
It's not a cup of tea.
Yeah. But yeah, this one is good. If they have some left, I'll pick up another 8-ounce can.
Well, it'd be interesting. Is this on tap there?
I can't say because I went in there and picked it up and we didn't drink there, so I don't know.
I don't know what they'd serve you if it was like a sniffer.
Yeah, I'm guessing you would get 6 ounces just all because I think that's what New Holland does with Dragon's Milk. You get 6 ounces or whatever.
They'll sell you a 4-pack of 12 ounce.
Yeah,
but they won't sell you.
Yeah. You can't get anything more. So if you like this review, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you know when new videos are coming out. And until next time, I'm Brad.
I'm Steve.
Happy brewing.
See you next time.